Okay, we're going to work on solving system of equations using the substitution method. All right, so if you can see the steps are outlined below, I'm going to walk you through kind of how to incorporate those. So first, if you'll notice, it says replace one variable with the expression. Now, what that means is we're going to figure out we've got a variable by itself already. In this case, the y is all by itself. So what we can do is we can use the information, this expression right here on the other side of the equal sign. We can take that and we can use it as the y down here, right? Because basically what that's saying is y is this. So that whenever you see y in the next equation, we can use this instead of y. Now, the reason we do that is so that we can actually solve for a variable. In this case, we'll be solving for x. So the first thing we did was replace one of the variables, in this case y, with the expression that we have isolated. Then we're going to solve for the remaining variable. In this case, that remaining variable is x. So watch how this works is we're going to go ahead and just start rewriting that bottom equation. And when we come to the y, instead of writing y, we're going to write a parentheses and then whatever that expression is. So that's all we did on this for this step right here is to rewrite that bottom equation, but instead of writing y, we're writing what its expression is. Now that we do that, all we're doing, as you can see, is we're using that answer. We're going to, for the other variable, we have to get the answer first, and we're going to do that by solving. So we have to continue solving for the x. So in this case, we have to distribute my -2 to this expression. So I'm just going to begin rewriting because it's all I'm doing in this step is to distribute. This is just solving equation steps. Okay, so all I did there is I'm just distributing. Now I'm going to combine my like terms. In this case, I get -3x and -10x. It's going to be -13x's. I have my +14 equals -12. I continue solving for x. So in this case, I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. I have my -13x equaling -26. Divide both sides by -13. Again, this is just the solving an equation process right here. And I'm left with x is going to equal 2. Now we're not done because a system of equation, you need you need an ordered pair. So you need an x coordinate and a y coordinate or y point. So now that we have we solved for the other variable, we have x equals 2. We're going to use that answer for the other variable. In this case, the other variable, the one we don't have the answer for, is y. Now it'll work if you plug x equals 2. If you plug 2 into this x, you can go through the process and solve for y in that equation. But it's going to be a lot easier in this case to solve for y, since y is already by itself here, if we plug x in here. So I'm going to take this 2, I'm going to plug it in. I guess I'll show you in a different color exactly what I'm doing. But I'm going to take this 2, because x equals 2. I'm going to plug it into this x right here. So anytime I see the x now that I know x equals 2, I can use 2. When I do that, I get y equals 5 times 2 minus 7. And if I, put that in my calculator or just do the mental math, y equals 10 minus 7, y equals 3. Now I've got my x and I've got my y. The final thing that we want to do is answer it as an actual ordered pair. And again, the way we're going to do that is put in parentheses, I need to write my x point first, which is a 2 here. Then I could write my y point, which is a 3. And that is the whole process of solving a system of equations with substitution. So again, all you're doing is finding, in this case, the y, maybe sometimes the x, will be isolated by itself. So you can use all that information that's on the other side of the equal sign and go ahead and plug it in for that variable. When you do that, you're able to, you would now have one variable by, you only have one variable. So you can go through and solve for that particular variable. That's what we did here. When we got here, we're just taking the information that we got about x and doing the same thing. We're substituting the information for x into the x variable. By doing that, we're able to get y. When we get our y information, we now have both the x and the y, and we have an answer to our system of equations for substitution using substitution method.